So hello, everyone. Thank you for taking some time today to attend our Signpost webinar in collaboration with United Wholesale Mortgage. My name is David Druckman. That's me in the bottom left-hand corner there. And I'm our UWM representative over here at Signpost. So this presentation should take about 25 minutes, and I'll open up the floor for questions at the end. So hold on to those for now. Thank you for making the time. So let's take a look at our agenda for today. So we're going to cover a few main topics in this conversation as highlighted here. First and foremost, we're going to review some key components of today's consumer and how they typically assess their options. We'll cover why reviews matter and how they can be at the forefront of helping you win more business. We'll cover a few simple strategies to aid in your lead conversion. And finally, we're going to highlight some of the tools that we offer that will help set you apart from your competition. So first, let's talk about today's consumers. First and foremost, today's consumers are always online, right? Most are on the computer during work hours. If they're not on the computer, then most are logging on to some type of mobile device. I can speak for myself that, this image here, this lady on the phone, reminds me about half the people that I know, including myself. So on average, the typical American is checking their phone over 300 times a day. So that should give us all some sense that if we're appearing in that cell phone consistently, our messages are very likely to at least be seen and opened. Next, while the online landscape is somewhat new and it's constantly changing, word of mouth still remains a major factor in how people are making their choice of who to work with, right? So just because they're searching in places like Google or Facebook or Yelp, consumers are still requiring that social proof. They want validation from your past clients. They want to know some examples of the work that you do so that they can feel comfortable they've made the right choice. Now, word of mouth is online these days. A vast majority of your potential clients start their search for someone like you with these local reviews. So to be exact, more than 4 out of 5 of them are going to start there. And many of these people will quickly eliminate those that have a poor or average reputation to show. So your prospects are unique in the way that they're making one of the most important financial decisions of their lives. When someone's buying a home or looking for financing, they're going to expect excellent service, a great experience, above and beyond communication. And things like your website, your pictures, your social media pages, they're unlikely to tell the full story there because, let's face it, they're completely under your control. So this is where the reviews comes in. Now, when a prospect is considering the options at hand, the average person's going to read 10 reviews before choosing who to work with. So this is why the quantity and the recency of your reviews is equally as important as the quality, which is your rating. So here is a sample local search on Google, which I'm sure is familiar to most people on this call. Feel free to try this at home in your local area, or this one here, mortgage broker, Holly Springs, North Carolina, on your own. You'll notice a few things right off the bat. Google is going to highlight those with the strongest rating right up top. And Google's not the only social page who does this, right? Most major sites like Facebook, Yelp, they do the exact same thing. So a quick question to ask yourself is, if you were doing this search and had absolutely no idea who any of these people are, who would catch your eye? Who would, draw you to their website and gather that call from you? Now, this social proof is the result of a few key factors, right? First is, of course, providing great service, which is always the first step. And I'm confident you all on this call are doing, just that. But second is proactively and systematically making sure that you're giving yourself and your business the highest likelihood this occurs with each closed loan. And that's where the automation is key. The messages are professional. It shows your clients that you care what they think. And most of all, it's going to allow you to build future business from the hard work that you're doing now. Okay. So sometimes it's just as simple as asking, right? I think the best way to think about this is to put yourself in the client's shoes. And my question would be, after receiving, great experience from any business, how likely are we to go out of our way and leave a review if the company doesn't ask us? Probably very unlikely, right? So with each individual having their own preference of search engine and starting point, it's important to consider and think about what's the most valuable for your brand. Most of our clients here at Signpost, they prioritize Google, and then they add additional listings as secondary when it comes to reviews. So Signpost is able to, and we commonly request reviews on multiple sites at once. Definitely an option. So let's quickly take a look at a live sample of how this works. Now, Signpost operates via text and email. What we're looking at here is a preview of our email request. On the far left is our initial request. In the middle is what your client would see when leaving that review. And on the right-hand side is a current Signpost client that's using us now, and the online reputation that he has built using this exact strategy. So the two most important things to highlight here are one, the proactivity, and two, the ease of use, making sure that we're asking for the review and it's really simple to take care of. Okay, so we covered reviews. Next up is this convenience piece. Now, as you guys all know, millennials, younger families that are beginning to enter the home buying market are sometimes impatient. They're a little bit demanding. A few statistics to represent why convenience is of importance to you guys. So on average, 9 out of 10 of these prospects are going to prefer multiple options to reach out to you, like chat, text, phone, email, etc. 3 of 4 of them expect a response from you within 5 minutes. And 30% are reaching out to you outside of business hours, late at night, early in the morning. So all of us here, including myself, aspire to have a very clean pipeline that operates efficiently. And it's not quote unquote leaky. It's not dropping opportunities along the way. So making sure that you're available and very responsive is really a key factor in retaining the opportunities, the chances that you have. So how do you stack up to your competition? With consumers having a shift in expectations, they're actually, much more inclined to do business with someone that responds first. If the home pops up that they want, all of a sudden it's go time, right? They want to make sure that you're available. God forbid things go wrong. They want to make sure that you'll be reachable and you'll be by their side. So that first impression is very important. That first phone call, that first initial contact, especially if they're going through a list of potential options to work with. So how does Signpost help in this area, right? The responsiveness. And what ways do we help you convert on your leads and your opportunities? Here's a few mediums that we're going to discuss in the next few minutes. So you have your website, you have text, you have Facebook, scheduling, phone calls, email, and more. So first, let's talk about the website. Let me start by saying that people who make it to your website are extremely valuable opportunities, right? Websites cost money to maintain. And if someone has made it there, it's very likely that something about you has caught their eye. So the most common issue regarding a website is that they're ineffective. They get traffic, they get clicks, they get engagement, but no contact, no follow through. And it is possible that this occurs because there's a great hurdle for that prospect to go through. They don't have a middle ground, right? Instead of going straight from browsing to a phone call, they might want to ask a few questions or get to know you a little bit more about your business. So our web chat offers your clients and your prospects the ability to engage with you on the website, ask questions, schedule appointments, and learn more about the business before they decide to reach out, right? So the focus is on lowering that barrier of engagement. Signpost web chat, is installed on your existing site. So it's an add-on, and it leaves all the underlying features the same as they are now and operating as normal. Okay, so let's talk about text messaging. This day and age, texting strategy is undoubtedly your best chances when it comes to open rate, right? Having people view your messages. So open rates will quadruple via text when compared to email, and 90% of your clients prefer to be texted versus calling them. So let's pause on that for 1 second. I would argue that it's very likely that all of us on this call, including myself, are calling our prospects and clients more than we're texting them to check in, which is absolutely not what they prefer. So with that being said, Signpost has a full texting platform for both one-to-one texting, as well as bulk scheduled text called campaigns. So you can pre-design your message. You can place them throughout your current process, prospects, current clients, past clients, or you can fire off a single text when needed and segment your work messages versus your personal messages. So this does not require you to change your phone number or how your phone calls operate now. Next is social media messaging. So Facebook currently dominates this social landscape within this industry, while others are joining the conversation, of course, like Instagram. More than 20 billion Facebook messages are sent monthly. And so this presents a large opportunity for you guys. So our social messaging instant response, it will allow you to customize a message that is sent to all new inquiries in your Facebook Messenger. So these messages, just like all other Signpost messaging, is pulled into your dashboard. So it'll allow you to keep track of it and centralize the communication. Now, the biggest issue with the Facebook Messenger is that most of us are not consistently and constantly monitoring that inbox. So therefore, we need some type of notification and response process when someone does reach out to us from there. So don't forget, there are 1.2 billion people using Instagram alone, 3.5 billion on Facebook. This is a huge audience, and you could possibly capture a lot of potential contacts and deals through these mediums. Almost every consumer is on here, including yours. Okay. Next is going to be our online scheduling capabilities. So first and foremost, a quick statistic. Online booking drives 25% more new clients, mainly because it's easy and it's accommodating to your prospects' calendars. Takes a second, right? Again, we're looking to lower that barrier of engagement and not force someone to call you up or email you to coordinate a time to speak. So luckily, this online scheduling piece is built in and integrated into our web chat. It can be linked to almost all major calendars like Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, Calendly, things like that. If you don't have online booking right now, totally fine, not to worry. Our web chat also includes an option where you can request a call, right? Someone would submit their contact information to you, name, email, phone number, and a proposed time, which you would receive in your dashboard. Most importantly, all of these web chat submissions are saved automatically into your contacts. So this makes these submissions easy to track and easy to follow up with. Here's a quick example of the online scheduling option and what your clients would see. The right-hand side is actually my live calendar that I use right now. And it presents only my available times. And I set some parameters in there that says, I need at least 20 minutes before my meetings, and it kind of shows accordingly. Okay. So not every business can answer every single call, and we understand that, right? So to quickly inject, I moved home recently. I used a moving company. It was very difficult for me to receive a response from somebody. I, of course, reached out to the top rated businesses, and they, of course, called me back 4 days later after I booked the job. So I'm sure we can all relate to that feeling. Definitely want to thank our VP of Marketing, Laura Nelson, for adding this slide here. Hopefully this person's doing all right. But the point that we're trying to make here is that calls are being missed, right? People are leaving less voicemails as they used to as well. They prefer text. So how can we handle the situation and best position ourselves? So if you'd like to have a live person that responds to your missed calls, right? Someone calls you, you're unavailable, you want them to speak to somebody, we absolutely offer that. We have a live receptionist service. It acts as a backstop for when a call is missed. We take notes and we can initiate next steps for you. On top of that, we also have an instant text responder for missed calls. So this will fire off a text when a call is missed. As always, these conversations will funnel into your messaging hub, which we're looking at here. Okay. Now, on top of the other, more unique things that we offer here at Signpost, we also offer a full text and email remarketing platform. You may have heard of this referred to as campaigns or industry-specific content. The content of these messages is limitless and it's customizable. It can range from a referral offer to a newsletter to something focused on maybe refinancing. So Signpost offers a suite of templates focused on your industry, and it's embedded within your account. You'll see the templates in there. These are both text and email, and this is where you'll craft your custom message and inject it into the appropriate phase of your process. Okay. So to round things out, these are some major statistics that correlate with the areas that we focus on at Signpost. So firstly, businesses and individuals that are responsive, right, up top, responding instantly, they are able to land more opportunities more frequently. It's very simple, right? Secondly, this takes a lot of time. So following up with prospects and clients for reviews, referrals, callbacks, text, it could easily be a full-time job. And for many companies, it is. We want to simplify that for you, make it easily manageable and somewhat automated as well. Lastly, more than 90% of the people considering you are going to look at those reviews before they reach out. Very important to build that positively over time. Okay. So what we're looking at here is a recap of all of our features and where they fall here at Signpost. So if you're looking for a specific slide to maybe grab a screenshot summarizing what we do, this would be the one. I want to highlight the three main categories up top in blue, which we just covered. And I'll give everyone a moment to grab a quick screenshot, and then we'll open it up for questions. Of course, as mentioned, if you have any questions now, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Okay. So I want to thank everyone on this call very much for taking the time out of your day to talk, right? Hopefully this was very productive. If you absolutely love what you saw, feel free to throw your number in the chat or some details about where I can contact you. I'll reach out later today after the meeting. Our marketing team is always thinking of new ways to incentivize you guys. And this month, it's $100 off any package if you book a demo today. So if you're considering looking into this further, you can scan this code here on the screen and schedule a call for sometime this week, next week. I'll run you through the packages and answer your questions, show you some samples, of course. You'll be speaking to me. And that is all from my end. So now I will open it up to questions. If you have anything that you'd like to ask, you can, of course, raise your hand or just, feel free to unmute yourself. And thank you guys again.
Hey, David, I'll throw in a question because we get this one a lot. Pertaining to online review generation, specifically negative reviews. How do you think about that when you're starting a review gen campaign, and if you do get a negative review, what do you recommend to a lender?
Sure. So a couple tips that I have there. First and foremost, negative reviews are specifically more damaging to someone who's new and has no reviews, right? So when you're just getting started, reviews are an average. Your rating is an average. So if you have 3 reviews, 2 of them are positive and 1 of them are negative, that's going to be very damaging to your rating. So I'll start with that. Secondly, Signpost does have a feature which is called feedback, where you can reach out to your clients before the review request, gauge if they're happy or not, to help you avoid negative reviews being posted. So that is absolutely part of our program and something that we can help you avoid in the future. Now, if a negative review is posted, first and foremost, I would say that's not the end of the world. Some people even see that positively. If they see a lot of positive reviews and 1 negative, they'll say, at least I can tell that this is legitimate, right? So it's not the end of the world. Now, with that being said, the best way to handle a negative review is to drown it out and cover it with positive reviews. So I'm sure some of you guys on this call know, Google reviews are somewhat permanent, right? There's really only 2 people that can take them down, which is Google and the person who posted them. So once that negative review is up there, I would say reach out to that person, of course, see if you can address their concern. But going forward, the best way to address it for the business is to drive a ton of new positive reviews and cover it up. Okay.
I have another question for you, David,
Go ahead.
regarding like remarketing campaigns. What have you seen that's successful? You showed some examples, but why would that be important to a lender?
Sure. Well, traditionally, when you see campaigns, of course, most people's first thought is messages for your clients, right? People that you've worked with and reaching back out to them for things like referrals or refinancing. Now, something that most people that come to us from UWM do not think about is the realtors or the home inspectors or the other connections in your network that it would be wise for you to stay in front of, right? So just as an example, excuse me, a lot of our brokers, they have a separate contacts list for their realtors that they engage directly and regularly, right? And then they track that engagement. So if they're sending out a monthly referral and that's shared over to a realtor's new client, someone clicks on that, they can call that person up directly. So from your guys' perspective, I guess a question to ask yourself is, if I have a client and I work with them this month and we are totally done, right? Are they going to hear from me ever again? Are they going to see my logo? Are they going to hear my name? Are they going to ever have a chance to provide more value to me, right? That's really the name of the game here. We want to make sure that this is providing more value for the business. You can also use these campaigns on the prospect side of things. So those are also not clients either, right? They could be leads. They could be people that have reached out to you in the past that have shown some general interest, called you, emailed you, visited the site. You may want to be following up with those people as well, right? So that is segmented within Signpost. And that's just to give you guys a couple of ideas as to where the campaigns can be injected. The messaging is totally up to you. Like I mentioned, we have a lot of templates. We've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of brokers. We supply you with examples, but it can really be very customizable. Okay, so I see a question in the chat from Gabriel talking about review platforms. Which one is the best? What are the pros and cons of directing people towards Yelp versus Google versus Zillow? Good question. Okay, so let's start with this. Google has the most traffic. That's why most people prioritize it, meaning most people start their search there versus any other listing. Google also does not take down any reviews. So like I mentioned, it's permanent. Any review that's posted, it stays with you for as long as you're in business. Zillow, of course, is industry specific. So there's not going to be any dentists or therapists or home builders or any of that on Zillow, right? Which is going to constrict your audience in a good way. It's going to limit the type of people who are reaching out to you. And for that reason, a lot of people in your industry, of course, do prioritize Zillow. Yelp, I would say somewhere in the middle, right? So Yelp, I've heard some negative things in the past about non-recommended reviews. Maybe some of you guys have experience with that. These are reviews that are posted on Yelp that are not showing on your page. I also would say it's not necessarily mortgage, real estate specific. So there's a wide range of businesses there. And some people start, getting a little bit lost in the weeds, I guess you would say. So if you're asking me, they're all a good bet, right? They're all important because we don't know where your prospect is choosing to start. They may always start on Yelp because they're a Yelp person. So with that being said, when you're driving your reviews, like I mentioned earlier, you want to go for all of them, but prioritize one or two. Too many options usually leads to no decision at all, right? So that's why I encourage you guys to look into your listings, maybe what's lacking, what's getting a lot of traffic, and think about what's the best for your brand when it comes to driving these reviews. 9 times out of 10, my recommendation will be Google as the priority. And I would say attach all of the listings that you have. So we want reviews on all the pages that you possibly can garner feedback.
David, what are your thoughts on texting for reviews versus email?
So I just want to clarify Gabriel's question. He said, what do you mean
Oh
by
yeah,
listings?
that's a good one.
When I say listings, apologies for the confusion. I mean social pages like Google, Facebook, Yelp. I understand you guys use listings, in your day-to-day. Of course, I don't mean homes. I mean your Google page or your Zillow page or your Facebook page. So for our purposes, I'll refer to them as social pages from now on. Now to answer your question, Laura, texting versus email, you want to go for both, right? Because like I mentioned, some people have their own preference. Statistically, texting is going to be much more effective. It'll be opened more, it'll be engaged with more, it'll convert more, right? The reason why is because 99% of people are not going to fall asleep with all their text unread. They want to at least clear out their day. So you're going to pretty much guarantee yourself that you're getting in front of that person. Both of these methods have a reminder. So if it's not completed, they'll get another message in about a month, which is very important, right? Underratedly important that there's a reminder built in. A large percentage of our reviews are left on the second, third request, something that's very difficult to manage the timeline personally. It's a big reason why we exist. Any other questions that we have? Okay, so I'm going to hang around for a few minutes in this chat. If you guys have any questions that pop up, I'll be in here. The chat's not going anywhere. You can hang back and we can talk. Otherwise, I'll let you get back to your day. I really appreciate the time. And hopefully, we'll be in touch. If you'd like, I'll reach out to you after the call or sometime this week. All right, thank you, everyone.